Welcome to Grandma Frida YouTube channel, this channel that explores stories on retirement. Today is a very special day because this is the first time I'm bringing you a couple to share their retirement journey. They retired and they're gracefully leading their retirement, and they're going to share their insights, their how they spend their day, and so much details about their retirement. And I ask you to please stay tuned because you will get inspired by their story. If you are seeking for encouragement, inspiration, motivation on your retirement, then you are at the right place, because this couple is going to share their insights on retirement. And please remember to subscribe to Grandma Frida YouTube channel, like my videos, and hit that notification bell so that next time I upload a video, you are going to be notified. So please join us as we talk to this couple. Can you please give us a brief introduction about yourself, your background, career, or professional journey leading to your retirement? I don't know whom we are going to start with.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Reverend Henry Juma. Started off way back as a clerk in the TAC, and then from there I moved to the university. I came back and continued teaching. I was a high school teacher at Kwale High School in the coast, and then from there I went to my home place, Timbila Secondary School, and then from there I went back to the university, Kenyatta University, for a postgraduate diploma in education. I did my teaching practice at Lenana School, and immediately I finished in 1987. I was posted there. I was there until 2000, when I joined the Teacher Service Commission headquarters. I left TSC for Kenya National Examination Council in the year 2002. And I worked in various places in NEC, Kenya National Examination Council. I started off as a HR officer, and then moved to HR officer 2, then moved on to senior HR officer. I went on to be chief human resource officer, and I ended up at the level of principal human resource officer by the time I was retiring in 2015.
That's a great journey.
Yes.
So you've actually had 2 employers in your life?
Yes, basically, yes.
And Madam, can we please get an introduction about you?
Okay, mine is a bit longer, so I'm going to try and make it very brief. I started working in 1985 in the Office of Auditor General. I am an accountant by profession, certified public accountant. From the civil service, I moved to a private sector, a manufacturing company. I think everyone knows Farmer's Choice. And I went there as an internal auditor. And I left for an insurance company, worked briefly, and then in 2001, I joined the social development sector, where I've had several assignments in Kenya and abroad as a finance manager, auditor, trainer, and anything to do with finance. That's it.
So that sector, what does it entail?
Social development sector is maybe more people know them as aid workers, non-governmental organizations, and it is everything to do with social services. We do projects like humanitarian responses. An example is when we had tsunami. My organization then, Oxfam, Great Britain, we call it Oxfam GB, we responded. Everybody knows about Haiti, we responded, and many others.
We are
NGOs.
privileged to learn that you are with Oxfam. You have not told us any other employer.
Save the Children, Tear Fund, Mines Advisory Group, and they don't deal with mining, they deal with removing mines after war, the landmines. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay,
Those
so
are the
when did you
employers.
retire?
I retired. I didn't retire officially as such. My retirement was planned. I decided to change from office setup as finance manager. I moved to a global trainer, and I was training all the Oxfam teams in financial management. And I moved to that position, which was 1 year's contract, to exit from employment so that I can start my own practice as a trainer.
So actually you had not reached your retirement.
I had to plan it. I
Okay.
didn't want to be told to go.
What about you? Had you reached your retirement?
Yes, I had reached my retirement age. At that time, we were retiring at 60. So I was able to retire at my right time.
Would you have accepted to continue working if your employer had requested you to do
Yes,
so?
I would definitely have.
Why?
I would not have minded 2 or 3 more years just to finish up.
Finish up in terms of?
Finish up in terms of the exercise I was doing, the work I was doing. At that time, I was in charge of recruitment. There was quite a number of things going on. I would have felt that had I been asked to completely finish that exercise for that period, I would not have minded.
So what's your view on extension of employment once people have reached their retirement?
My view is if you are strong enough, if you still feel strong enough and you are given a chance to continue, it's not a bad idea to do 2 or 3 years.
Give us an insight in those organizations you have worked. Were people retiring at 60?
They are different because these are multinational, and therefore you find retirement rules are different in different organizations.
Okay.
So many of those organizations tend to comply with the local law. So, but the organization I worked with, people have worked long after 60.
I've seen something, I think, it must have been circulating about the US, that there is no retirement in the US. Is that true?
Yes.
That you can work as long as you want?
Yes.
Because according to them, it is discrimination.
I agree because at about 60, it has been proven that you're more said, you have all the skills that you needed. You've accumulated skills. You concentrate only on your work because you don't have other detractors, and therefore you tend to become probably more productive. Although you may not think as fast, but you're quite good at your work. And I think I concur with US, because even in the Bible, there's not a biblical concept to retire.
Who among the two of you retired first, and how was your experience?
I retired first. I retired in the year 2015. And to me, it was okay because I was expecting it. And since I worked in HR, I knew once you have reached the retirement age, you are now set to go.
And how far were the children in terms of their education by the time you were retiring?
Fortunately, by the time we were retiring, all our children were beyond, they had finished university.
You really didn't retire?
Yes. As I told you earlier, I took a training job. So when I stopped working, or when I stopped being employed, I started a firm called Centwise Business Consulting, and I train in finance. So for me, it was more of a continuity, and I'm still doing that. I'm fairly busy. I would call myself retired from formal employment.
As a couple, did you have a joint or individual retirement plans?
We had a hybrid. Some were as a couple, and some were as individuals.
Tell us the one that was joint.
Our development plans were joint. We went into rentals, and it was a joint venture. As individuals, as she has said, she started Centwise, and she continued with that.
What is this that you planned as a couple for your finances in readiness for your retirement?
Okay, fine.
Okay, can I answer that?
Yes.
I would say we looked at our needs that are going to, the things that we are going to need, and we started early. We have a few investments that, as he said, rentals, both in Nairobi and at home. And therefore, we know that to a certain extent, our expenses are covered, even if we are doing absolutely nothing. But because we still are strong, we have a lot of skills, there is also what we are doing as individuals to supplement the passive income.
Okay, I'm a bit interested, yeah, because you're talking to couples out there who are retired, yeah, or planning to retire. How did you manage to have finances to invest in the developments you are talking about?
Let me say, it calls for a lot of discipline, deliberate, and also sacrifice. Sometimes you can do without a few other things just to look at what you want to, what kind of old age you want. So we did a lot of sacrifices. I can say one of our projects here in Nairobi, we took a number of loans, and many times we didn't buy very many new clothes, and we didn't go out a lot.
Where were you taking these loans from?
Cooperatives.
Which cooperatives?
Our individual cooperatives, like she used to work with Amref.
No, my cooperative was Amref because it kind of incorporates all the social development companies. Before that, I was with a SACCO called Mukaguzi, which was formed by the auditors who worked in the office of Auditor General. So after that, I simply transferred my shares.
Okay.
I didn't eat it.
And were you in any circle?
Yes, I was. When I worked with the Teacher Service Commission, I was with Mwalimu Sacco. And then when I moved to Kenya National Examination Council, I immediately joined Exam Sacco, and I have been with Exam Sacco for all that time. And even after I retired, I still have my shares with Exam Sacco. Majority of my developments and our developments have been financed by Exam Sacco.
Is there something else you invested in apart from properties for your retirement?
Our house was one of the first projects we did together. I remember one time there was a colleague of mine whom I really appreciate. When I joined the civil service, he told me, Catherine, commit your salary from day one. So he showed me how to join the cooperative. That time we were not married, we were courting. So we got the plot during before we got our first baby. Yes. So that's when we got our first house.
Oh yes, the Jumas, you have told us about your financial plan for your retirement. I would be very excited for the viewers to understand anything that you had planned to take care of your health.
Yes, we have taken care of our health by taking an insurance, health insurance package with my service pension service provider. They have a component of medical insurance, and that is what we have taken, and it has helped us a lot, plus the National Hospital Insurance Fund.
Would it be beneficial to somebody if you disclosed who this insurance is? so that it can help other people.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
we are with the APA.
How much would somebody need to pay for APA insurance per year?
Oh, per year would be 60,000.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
And
covers for inpatient, outpatient, dental, dental, and what?
Optical.
And optical.
and is there a limit of usage?
Yes, there's a limit.
Uh-huh.
The more you pay, it depends on how you feel you are able to do it. But there is a limit and there is a maximum.
So does that cater for you also?
I just when I was planning to join the scheme, something else came up.
Mm-hmm.
I got an appointment to sit in a board, and they cover my medical.
Wow.
So that
Oh,
one is taken care of.
that's
But
interesting.
immediately I'll transfer to the scheme that he has.
Address the retirees this thing of sitting on the board.
I sit in 2 boards,
Mm-hmm.
and that keeps my mind very sharp.
Mm-hmm.
In one of the organizations, I chair an audit committee. So it's quite involving and very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel happy to share the skills that I have accumulated over the years. The other organization, I also sit in the audit committee, and at some point I was sitting also in the HR committee.
Oh.
So there is a lot that we can offer after our formal employment. There is a lot. Those skills that you have accumulated, they are needed out there.
True. Thank you so much. Now that you are retired, what makes you happy? Your greatest achievement in your working time?
Um, my greatest achievement in my working time was the ability to be able to educate our children
Mm-hmm.
and the ability to be able to invest. I can look back and say, this one I bought it when I was working here. This one I bought it when I was working here. This one I did it when I was working here.
And how did you benefit the organization you are working with? What can really make you happy if you look behind and say, if it wasn't for me?
I will talk about the recent employment I had with Kenya National Examination Council. We were able during my time to have HR policies, develop them, and make them accepted and be able to implement them. I am happy that we started the welfare. I'm always proud about the welfare program we started, that when somebody loses their relative, the organization is able to come in and help them, irrespective of their position. Whether you are a subordinate staff or you are the CEO, if you lost a relative, you are treated equally, and the presence of the organization was felt. I remember, like, if one lost their spouse, the organization gave a check of 150,000. The organization gave 3 vehicles, one to transport the body, one to transport the family, and one to transport the colleagues. And there was a heavy presence of the organization.
That's
And
interesting.
I felt that was good. I'm glad about it. I'm glad that we started it, and
Yes.
it has taken off.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's a big milestone. What about you, Mrs. Juma?
I have quite a few, but the most memorable I would say was when I was working with Danida. Danida stands for Danish Development Agency. When I was working, maybe let me just explain a little bit. There is a side accountants, we have auditors, and we have accountants. So now when you work for a donor agency, you are also an auditor in a way, because you'll be implementing your programs through another person. So when you're in the office, you're an accountant. And that time, because of my auditing background, I started the audit function. I equipped the managers. I drew up a manual. When you go to the field, this is what you look for. I feel very proud of that, because I can see it was my brain.
Congratulations.
The other one I would say was I thank God that I have good training skills. I trained a lot of staff, and that is what I have carried out. My employers trained me to be a trainer. I trained, and I'm still training, so it is giving me income.
You have equipped
Yes,
other people's skills.
yes, and I've also been equipped.
Thank you. Yeah. Is there one important lesson you learned from your career or in your life now as a senior citizen? What can you share with us as a lesson? Just one.
As a lesson, I learned to support that even as you are working, you need to support each other as a family. There is a time, an opportunity happened where my wife had to be outside the country and our children were still young, and we talked as a family and we agreed that it is okay, she can go and work outside. And that has been a lot of a big lesson that as a couple we need to support each other in terms when people are working, they need to support each other. Even when they are not working, they still continue supporting each other.
Yes, Mrs. Juma, what about you?
Yeah, I think I want to go on with that one, where God blesses you as a couple, and He can choose to use either of you. He has used my husband in many ways, and He has also used me. So for that particular opportunity, actually, I was a bit skeptical traveling, and he's the one who encouraged me go for the interview, see how the country is. I went, I came back, and I told him it was an exciting experience. And lo and behold, I was given the job, and I said, "No, I don't think I want to go." He said, "You said they are good. You went, you saw the country, you liked it. I'll remain with the children. Go, girl, go get it." And it was exciting. So in life, I have learned that God blesses you as a couple,
Okay.
and He can use any of you. And that when you're working together, even the critics can't deter you. I remember I was told every time I came for holiday, I would be told, "Go back now, kuja upikie mzee." And I would tell him, "I'm being told to come back and cook for you."
And
And
what
he
were you
says,
saying?
"But the mzee is not complaining. Go and tell them mzee is not complaining."
That's nice. Okay, and when you were working, did you meet your fellow workers who also had left their families with one of the spouses?
Yeah, there were several. There was one particular couple. I used to wonder how they were managing, because I know I was with one of them, and the other spouse was in a different country. So,
Yeah, it happens.
yeah.
I would be curious to know, are you on pension or how are you managing financially in your retirement?
Yes, I am on pension, and it is good that it comes monthly. It is something you can bank on, but I must hasten to say it is not enough. You cannot live on a pension alone. You need to have other sources of income.
What about you, Mrs. Juma?
Mine is a little bit different. I've been on gratuity 2 times, and I can say the advantage of gratuity is that you can put it somewhere. I remember the first gratuity I got was part of the money we used to buy a major property. For the other organizations I've worked, and I think it is good you asked this question. I have been working as an expatriate. Some of those organizations, you have to be proactive. When
What
I
do you
was
mean?
working with the Oxfam in Afghanistan, you could choose. You either you get it in your salary, or you choose a scheme where that money will be sent. Personally, I chose to have a scheme. So the scheme I was using when I was working back, when I was working here in Kenya, my money continued going there. When I was working with Save the Children, it was a different arrangement. You could choose to join their scheme. But majority, you'll be surprised, majority decided not to. But I chose. That means I would contribute 5%, and the employer would give double. So that money was repatriated from the UK, And it came here, and it was a good lump sum.
Wow.
So there are different arrangements.
And between gratuity and pension, what would you prefer?
I think all of them are okay. The kind of pension I have had is where you get lump sum. So that helps you at your old age if you have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you'll enjoy it. You can go for holiday. You say, "Ooh, now I have," and you'll be left without anything. But if you have got good plans, then you can reinvest that money, and it can provide for you an income even higher. One of the pensions that I got, one of the lump sum, I got a very small studio.
Studio?
Yeah, a studio, a house, a big room. And that studio, it gives me some income. I am on a pension in a different
Yes,
way.
yes.
So either way, both of them are okay. But you have to be deliberate and you have to be smart.
True to it.
Yes.
What advice would you give to people who are who are just joining the workforce and those who are already in the workforce?
Okay, fine, good. I would say do several things differently. One, I would start investing immediately. There is this notion that retirement is so far and you need not invest. I would start investing immediately, join a circle, and be able to improve on my skills. And skills not only about your current job, but skills that will help you even survive long after you have retired. Skills that you can invest in, like you have heard my wife say that she has a consultancy. I also have a consultancy, and these consultancies are dependent on the skills we acquired while we are working, and we were able to sharpen them as we continue working.
And your turn?
I think I would pretty much say what he said. In addition, I want to underscore on investing on yourself. I have been a lifetime learner. I've done so many things. Right now, I'm in school. I'm learning to be a life coach.
Wow.
So invest in yourself.
Now, as a couple, you're retired, you're on pension, she's not on pension. And of course, you have other investments. How are you managing your resources as a couple?
We are managing them pretty well. There are things we do jointly as a couple, as a family, and there are things we also do individually, and we have no issues with that. Yes.
Can you give us an insight? What are these things that you do individually and what you do as a couple?
Maybe before I say that, can I say the element of trust is key? Because when you have a family budget and you have your own bank account, and like I have an account for Centwise, it is that trust that makes us have a common goal, and we know, this is how much I'm earning, this is how much I can contribute to this particular project. Of course, I still have my own life in the sense that I am running a farm which sometimes has costs, so I have to manage those costs, and also the income comes, so I have to manage that.
Okay.
Trust is the key.
Trust is the key. Please share your experience on work-life balance as retirees right now.
Okay. Yes, work-life balance is very important, and one needs to know when to work and when to do your own things. You cannot work throughout, you cannot do your things throughout. You must be able to have a life balance, and this happens when you are working and even when you have retired. It is important to observe that.
You agree with that?
Yes, but maybe clarification, is it during retirement or throughout?
You are sharing your experience now that you are retired during your working time.
Okay, during my working time, I would say I had three things that would would demand on my time. And I call them the 3 M's: motherhood, and of course, wife, ministry, and marketplace. Now, all those three are important, and none of them should excel at the expense of the other. So you've got to be deliberate. You've got to know the importance of each and put them in the right priorities. So none of them should exploit the other.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Oh, beautiful. Are you enjoying your retirement?
Oh, yes.
Yes, we are.
Oh,
Yes, we are. So better.
It's been so nice talking to the Jumas. Thank you so much for your inspiring story, the insightful stories on retirement. And if you really want to learn more from this couple, how they utilize their days, how they travel together, about their ministries and other details, there is more still coming. Please tune in to part 2 and ensure that you share this video, and please subscribe. Please remember to hit that notification bell so that when I upload the next video, you will be notified. So together we say bye-bye, but please tune in the next part 2. Bye.
Thank you for having us.